Hello and welcome to Campaign Comrades, your favorite leftist gaming podcast. Folks, are you ready to strap into your
Nope, not fast
simulators?
enough. Got to go faster. Fast, fast, fast. NASCAR pass. Let's
we're
go.
all we're all about speed. You got to commit, folks. You got to
Yeah.
commit to the inside lane. Follow your
No,
line.
man,
Yeah,
follow
your
your
own
own
line. Don't
line.
follow anyone
Yeah,
else's.
not the race lines. Follow your own line, man.
Definitely
takes
the
it
moral of this story.
it takes
Folks,
an
we're talking
autistic
Gran
gamer.
Turismo. Let's go. Yeah.
It takes an
I had-
autistic gamer to come up with a entirely new, unthought of racing line at one of the most famous and historic races in the world.
Yeah. I've done this 1,000 times. The line's not optimal.
If it wasn't based on a true story,
I mean, that's like the whole argument that they're trying to make, right? Is that these sim drivers have more race hours than
because they can
than
run
the
it
actual
so many
people.
more times.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about the cost of gasoline.
Just the cost of their own sanity and social life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, talking about Gran Turismo, which in my head I kept calling Gran Torino for a bit.
Wait, we weren't supposed to watch the 2010 masterpiece of racism.
I went to HBO because I thought
I watched the wrong thing.
I thought Gran Turismo was on HBO, and when I started typing it in, and Gran Torino was the first thing that popped up. I was like, well, I mean, well, in Paris.
Yeah.
No, and I said Paris there because the Parisians will understand.
Yeah, no, I thought it was like going to be streaming somewhere else. Yeah, I had to rent it.
It's on Netflix.
Oh, I watched it on Netflix.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's right. It is there. I don't currently have a an active subscription.
Yeah.
So I had to rent it.
Worth the rent.
I feel
I'd
like
say.
it's isn't there something about Sony movies are supposed to be part of like a PS Plus tier now or something like that?
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yes, that is happening, but I don't know if they've started that yet.
Interesting.
So that
trying to keep people from downgrading to the basic tier.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure
how
it was
many
the
movies
top.
do they have to
Sony Studios is pretty big. Is a pretty big.
Yeah.
It's all. I'm thinking just like Sony video game studios. I was like, what? Ratchet and Clank and
Tomb Raider.
2003's Gran Turismo. God damn it, dude! I'm really mad that you brought that up because I'm just gonna be saying Gran Torino this whole time.
Yep. You're welcome.
Clint Eastwood grunting on the porch.
Yeah.
One of the funny things about the Netflix presentation is the movie's title is listed as Gran Turismo : based on a true story.
Oh, I mean, when you look at the poster on the movie poster, that is what it says. That is what it says. That's not what it says on the Wikipedia page that I'm looking at right now. Because, folks, I did not
just say Gran Turismo.
I mean, they really want to like hammer it home to you.
It says
based on a true story. They need you to believe this is true because it does not make any fucking sense if you don't believe it to be true.
It is a true story.
It is, but like the details obviously are pretty mangled.
Oh, sure.
So one thing I just want to start off: the critics did not like this movie.
I looked at the IMDb rating and I was like, "That's interesting."
The audience, is pretty, average, or a little higher than average. I'd say average for a user score. It's like 7s and such.
So I think what this movie suffers from in score rating is that it's actually a sports movie.
Right.
It's a sports movie masquerading as a video game.
One of the top reviews on Metacritic is like what's the director's name? Neil Blomkamp. Like Neil Blomkamp may have made
that's what I always think.
the best. He may have made the best 90-minute sports movie of all time. Too bad Gran Turismo is almost 2.5 hours long. And I would say that's maybe like the one flaw that I would have with it is that it's perhaps a bit long in the tooth. But like
its length gives away certain moments.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah,
like you hit certain plot points, and then you're like, wait a second, there's still an hour and 15 minutes left in this movie.
Yeah, there's no deviation from sports movie tropes, but I guess it's like how disconnected I am from the sports ball past, that like this is probably the first sports movie I've watched in a while, in a long time. So like it was hitting the notes, it was hitting the high notes.
Movies are good.
Like
that's my hot take for this.
No,
movie.
that was my takeaway as well. Is like this is like kind of classic popcorn type of thing, but like it hits these emotional beats that like just gets you deep in your
it reminded me a lot.
The primal part of you.
It reminded me a lot of the first time I watched Eddie the Eagle.
That's not one that I've watched. I've seen clips of, because that's what's his face from Kingsman, and Hugh Jackman. But yeah, I've never seen that one. That's
an amazing movie.
Is it ski jumping? Is it ski jumping?
It's ski jumping.
Ski jumping.
Because I remember the cover. Speaking of sports movie covers, like the posters, he's like on the back or on the top of like a van or something, strapped to his skis, like in his ski jumping thing.
Yeah,
it's like part of his
used
training.
To being at speed.
Part of his training. Yeah, completely different movie though. So, but one of the main
about it too.
One of the main things that the critics did not like was the, shall we say, creative liberties or emotional manipulation that they used around the true to fact fatality that the body that Jan Morgenstern caught, in his career.
He just got a face tattoo of a tear on his eye. Now he good.
I'm pretty sure the guy was a Frenchman, so it's like Martin Burrow is the main character's name, Jan Martin Burrow. But I think it was a Frenchman, was the spectator who was killed. But so they completely.
So you're saying he's less than, and it doesn't matter.
So he's a Frenchman. But,
I was about to say.
Here's the thing that I was thinking about. It's like they're talking about like, oh, it's not your fault. They call that spot of the track like I don't know, something takeoff point or whatever, and caught you like a sail, and because of the wind conditions. And it's like, so why do they allow spectators to sit there?
That was my reaction to that sequence, was just like, this is almost an argument against the whole sport right here. Like, what do you mean it was the track's fault?
Yeah, because it's like sure, that's
if there are accidents here all the time because of this exact same thing, you probably should just like regrade it a little bit.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, you can accept the participants, taking on that risk, but I don't think it's fully reasonable for a watcher to be like, yes, my enjoyment of the sport is predicated on me signing away the possibility that I die here today.
I mean, maybe
people
just
who go to racing events are literally doing that though. Like,
you probably
the amount of times I've seen like tires fly off into the crowd and shit. That stuff's crazy.
Yeah, you
never
they probably
have like that.
They like either have to sign a waiver, or on the back of every ticket is like a waiver.
No, like every ticket is probably just printed with an entire.
It's a contract.
Constitution.
It's.
I mean, so
just by taking it, it's a contract that you excuse.
I know
them
that
of
there
any
is a case in contract law where we talk about that exact thing with a cruise ship ticket having a contract. Can't remember the whole thing to remember what the law is at the end of it. But I want to say that they aren't allowed to put contracts on the tickets. But I mean, that was not in America. Mm-hmm. So,
but yeah, so the main criticism for it though is like how in the movie they use this as this kind of the fulcrum point of Jan Martin Burrow's journey as a up and coming professional race car driver, that like this is going to be this is the defining moment of his career. He literally killed a person because of his inexperience, and that is
he proved him right.
It's either going to make it's going to make or break his future here, and how that's then going to have these narrative stakes in the climax of the movie here at his debut at Le Mans. And the real facts is that the crash happened 2 years after he podiumed at Le Mans. So it's just like, yeah, that they're doing narrative trickery to emotionally manipulate
tug at
the
your
audience.
heartstrings.
Yeah. And people are like, yeah, that's kind of gross.
Not only is it 2 years after Le Mans, but it's like 6 or 7 into his professional racing career.
Right. Because did he have his? Yeah, he had his in the movie that he did have. It was after he got his
license.
FIA license.
What year in real life? What year was he doing this shit?
It was like 2011. Well, so he was like he wasn't like the first ever winner of the GT the Gran Turismo Academy.
The Gran Torino race.
He was like the third. He was the third, I think. I'm pretty sure it was 2011
Academy.
Because I think when I was looking at it, they did like 2008, 2009. It wasn't held in 2010, and then he won in 2011.
I think that's right. His first like professional races are like 2013 and 14 ish.
Well, I don't know. I don't think about that. Well, maybe what this movie was gonna be completely changed over time, because they were talking about developing a Gran Turismo movie in some fashion as early as July 2013. Mm-hmm. That version, including like the people writing and directing, completely got scrapped by 2015. Or no, that says 2018 was fully scrapped. And then this new version wasn't announced until May 2022. And came out then a year later. So who knows how long it was kind of
turnaround.
Yeah, but it was like probably like, one of those, what do they call it? Like when they have a script that's like kind of just, going around.
Oh yeah, sure.
I don't know
the name.
Being shot options.
No, it's like they I don't know if they call it the blacklist, because that would indicate that it's like being kept from production.
There is something that's like
but no, there's a list that they have going around of like these are scripts that like are being treated and like are basically in development hell type of thing, to use a gaming term. That it was probably somewhere stuck in there, but I don't know. I found myself enjoying this film. I have some thoughts about it. My first comment, like I texted you guys in the group chat, and no disrespect to the actor who played Jan Mardenborough, but I texted the chat. It's like, this is one of the most chinless bruvs I have ever fucking seen. And
you see, I'd stick my neck out for him, but he couldn't do the same for me because there's just no difference there.
And one of like the things that kind of kept taking me out was when they kept referencing that he's from Wales, that he was Welsh. And this actor I don't know really much of anything about UK regional accents. I do know a South London accent when I hear one, though. It's like literally like the most stereotypical oi bruv type of
and Welsh is here. Like one of the accents that I do know.
Yeah, it's very
that was not Welsh.
Very distinct. Yeah. And
it was Tuesday.
It was Tuesday every day in it. But like, yeah, it's like, so this is, obviously based on a true story. This was a real guy. His father was a real professional footballer. But yeah, it's like, if we're going off of these facts as true, that like, so I didn't look this far into it, but if it's true that, his dad was an African footballer, because going off of they had Dijman Hansu play his father using his own accent, that like he was a semi-professional footballer that eventually made his way into the Premier League in the UK and ended in ran his professional career for whatever the Cardiff team is, but that's in Wales. And his mother is then presumably Welsh. But again, nobody in that family has a Welsh accent.
His father was born in Birmingham.
Okay, so that's a wild choice then, just to have Dishman Hansu play him with his own accent. That's wild. That's a wild choice. There are
Birmingham, Alabama.
No, there's Birmingham
England.
in
England.
England.
Birmingham, Australia.
Yeah, that's a wild choice. That's absolutely wild.
Yeah, wild.
I mean, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of
Dishman
Hansu as an actor, and I thought he did a good job as the
He was a very good disappointed father.
Who then has his turnaround and has the
the
teary, heartfelt. You made me proud, son.
That's where I get the biggest parallel to Eddie the Eagle. We had great disappointed dads at both. Give up your dreams and join the roofing business, son.
Dude, I'm stuck on that though. Why make it so that his father was an English immigrant, emigrated to the UK to play football? Clearly. What the fuck?
I mean,
there are plenty of black English actors out there. Get fucking
Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Right there.
That's probably too expensive of an actor for such a
absolutely. That's absolutely true. No disrespect to Dishman Hansu, but what the fuck?
I mean, yeah, they dumped all their money into Orlando Bloom and David.
I completely forgot that was Orlando Bloom until it popped up on the credits, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Can we talk about the schizophrenia of Orlando Bloom's character in the writing?
My biggest takeaway was that the character, the person that the character was based on, must have just been like a cokehead.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, just had a fucking coke problem.
Because it's you have the beginning bit of him where he's this wide-eyed idealist. He's he's from Nissan Britannia, whatever their office is called. Nissan is what Team Nissan is how he pronounces it. They come to he comes to Japan. He pitches the idea for the academy. It's this is how we can reach 80 million players and reignite the passion for driving. It's people don't see.
He was sitting at his desk one day, blew a couple lines, saw what the CIA does with COD, and was like, "Holy shit! Racing games could be a farm for finding new racers and people to buy cars."
But after that point, basically, you have bits here and there why again I call it schizophrenia is that they forget. It's they forgot at multiple times how they were characterizing him, because pretty much throughout the course of the movie, while the academy is going on, and then at significant points in the racing aspect, he's the cynical marketing guy, which is his job, his position. He was a marketing exec, and this was a marketing opportunity. The whole bit about how he's gonna throw the whole academy thing to the guy who's more media savvy and the guy who's more media ready. This guy's
not a chinless bruv.
Yeah, that the Oi bruv gets nervous, on camera. He's literally doing the I don't know what to do with my hands. And it's where there's a bit of perspective here. It's that they show that, and there's a very kind of below the surface discussion of kind of class and corporate kind of greed and all that you see with Orlando Bloom's character as this kind of cynical executive who's that this is a money-making operation. This is about selling cars. That's what this is about. This is not about. He's not here for the love of the game,
Then you have the cynical engineer who I really vibed with.
Yeah, and so David Harbour was definitely the heart and soul of this film, and definitely did a very good job 100%. As the coach who, the cynical one that's I'm here to prove that you don't have what it takes, and then at the end it's you got this, you're the best in the world. type of thing. Which I also laughed. It's like you're the best in the world. You placed third.
You finished third.
Yeah. Well, they have him win. They have him win in the movie, but in real life,
No, he was third. If you look on the podium, he was third. They were third.
Yeah, well, it's just that he podiumed because
the
goal was that he
podiumed.
Yeah, no, the whole goal is to podium because when you podium at Le Mans, you're immortal. Remember that. Yeah. That's the secret to immortality in this world.
It should have just been you're one of the best in the world, but no, you are the best in the world. It was like I don't think so. I think
he's the best in Gran Turismo and IRL.
You can make the argument, pushes up glasses, that if he didn't have a huge PTSD panic attack because he witnessed a man burning alive.
Yes, so I wanted to talk about like the two professional villains, and only one of them actually gets characterization. But that was like to my other point of like one of the villains of this was about like it's like very it's unconscious to itself. The movie's class consciousness, like because they do not focus on this at all. But just like how the cynicism of the marketing exec, and then there's the straight up cartoonish evilness of the rich fancy lad who has inherited his role as a race car driver, his main rival,
the German man with rainbows on.
Well, so say, and then there's the gay German, and then there's the gay German. Little interesting little tidbit is the villain Kappa. I forget what his first name is, played by Randall Thor from the Wheel of Time Amazon show, a Dutch actor.
That's why I didn't like him. Because he's Dutch. He's got small hands and smells of cabbage.
The country doesn't exist.
Yeah, so it's the rich assholes, and then the gay Germans are the two villains.
Yeah,
I mean, like that is kind of real life.
When the gay German crashes, when the gay German crashes at Le Mans, just and then just explodes. That was cinema.
Yeah. At that point in time, he was doing pretty well in the race, and if he didn't drop back to like,
I think he went from like
still in the race.
I think he lost like 5 places. I think they went from 8th to 13th or something.
When the dude doesn't carry a spare.
No. It's when it's like the German crashes, and then they have to do a safety lap.
Yeah,
and so they
after the safety lap,
it goes away. He's staying at like safety speed and not getting back in the race, so he just gets passed by all these people.
Yeah,
he's got to get his head back in the race, and that's when he starts playing Kenny G over the radio to snap him out of it. I loved those two little. The needle drops were actually pretty good. They weren't like too in your face and like discordant. Because apparently it is part of the real story and like the real character. They said somewhere like he still listens to Kenny G and Enya to chill out. So it's like that. Those are real.
I mean, it's also not a Sony movie unless they're doing a little subtle. Air quotes on subtle sometimes Sony placement with the Walkman and then the digital Walkman.
Oh, of course. What did you guys think of like the
surprised they didn't do like a quick like, oh my god, is that a digital Sony Walkman with hi-fi audio output and Bluetooth 6.4 connectivity?
No, dude, that was probably not even a real Sony. They bought it on the fucking streets. You bought it from some street vendor.
It says Sony, but if you really look at the O, it's got like a squiggle on it that's a Q. It's squinty.
Yeah. What do you guys think of like the little like they threw just like these like tiny little bits in for the gamers, the gaming aspects? Like you're hearing a lot the little
noises,
the little sounds.
It kind of threw me out
when you turn them.
Me out sometimes
when you hit the PS button on your controller, the little sound effect when it pulls you out of game. They would do that a lot. How they would do the
passing, the
Well, how they do like their position in the race.
Yeah, representation of your
would be like what it looks like we're calling it a game, but please, it's a simulator. It's a racing simulator.
You know what? I was torn while watching this movie and now talking about it because I've been having this internal conflict now becoming
build
a
a
Sony
racing
pony.
sim.
No. Just that because I've become a Sony pony now. I've purged myself of my Xbox. I've gotten a PS5, but I'm a
You
Forza
need Gran
man.
Turismo then, so you can get your
no
racing gaming on.
Forza superiority, and
just give it like a year.
Arcadey,
Forza will be on PlayStation. Because
you like the more arcadey, don't you?
Well, I do like that's Forza Horizon, but Forza is
the sim
comparable one. Is the sim one, and arguably a better sim.
Don't tell the producers of this movie.
I don't believe you.
See, this is my conflicting views now.
Well, I'm telling you, just give it a year and Forza will be on PlayStation. You can get it then.
You know what was a weird choice? They showed this one actor who's like, he only actually ends up having like one line at a press conference, but it's this one actor who's like playing the designer of Gran Turismo, and it's mostly just scenes of him just like staring at computers, pointing over another developer's shoulder, and doing when they're like talking about the creation of the
Isn't that what developers do?
I'm not talking about that level. It's just the fact that like why they got an actor to do it, because they gave the real guy a cameo. He's the sushi chef when they're out on their date night in Japan. Amazing. Who basically turns to camera, gives them a wink and a thumbs up.
Amazing.
Dude. It's like that's just racism. This movie is Gran Torino.
It's like why couldn't they just have him do that? Like play himself.
The argument though is it racism when it's a Japanese company? Is it reverse racism? They're countering it by doing it themselves to get ahead of it.
No,
creating a new wave of racism.
It's still the American studio, the American wing of it doing it. So yeah, it's still racism. They made Gran Torino.
But yeah, it was like he ended up having one line at a press conference. And Andrew, I think you're the only one here who's Shogun enlightened. It's the actor who plays Ishido.
Yes.
Is the guy who they have playing the head of the studio who designed Gran Turismo.
Yeah, he says something when he's getting his license.
Right. Yeah. But that's like his only line.
That press conference.
That's his only line in the whole movie. And it's like, there are other times they see him, he's just like in the background, in like stock footage, or like he's there at the GT Academy, but it's just like somebody like it's like Orlando Bloom goes off and talks to him and bows and talks to his translator. And
racism.
I mean, they still do that over there.
That's just politeness.
Yeah. It was just
civilized society.
I mean, I'm going so all over the place, but just another like little standout moment.
It's okay. Fast movies need to be talked about. Fast
ways. And loose. The one of like the beautiful
finding our own line
tropes that I just like had me kind of just like pumping my fist, hooting and hollering. After Orlando Bloom has gotten the go ahead to form the academy, he's got to find the engineer, the chief engineer, to run the thing. And he's out in this, he's out in having dinner in some little bar in Tokyo, and he's got his little notebook, and he's like crossed off these lists of, it's like he's just got off the phone with like the 9th of 10 people to be his choice, and then of course it's the bottom one where he just underlines and says hell no. And so it's like, of course it's gonna be the guy, the last possible choice.
Hell yeah.
Fate playing its hand right there. I just was like, let's do it, let's go, it's got to be him. And then he eventually has a "you son of a bitch, I'm in" moment.
Which was great
because David Harbour initially turns down the thing, and it's like, this is ridiculous, so I'm not gonna be a part of you guys, you and your video games. playing
We're
at
gonna
real
kill
race
somebody.
car. Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Quickly back to the playing around with the narrative and adding the crash in earlier. They partially did it to bridge that connection between David's character and Jan, in that like that's the moment that he
I crashed someone at Le Mans and they died. Spoiler.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're listening to this, you've already accepted that you're locked in for spoilers.
Yeah, exactly. But that they have that connection there where he finally tells him why he stopped racing, and like, you can't stop racing too. So it was completely just
you could kill way more people.
Plot tool.
You've yet to unlock your murderous potential. You also had the trope of the original rival villain arc in the from the
his Vegeta
Academy.
Showed up.
Yeah, and like becomes one of his teammates for the Le Mans 24 hours at Le Mans, which I'm assuming this is probably how they normally do it. But I was also laughing at the Le Mans race, how it's like, oh, we're not the only ones who incorporate overt militarism into our sporting events. They had the flag for Le Mans rappelling down from French special forces from a helicopter.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They do a flyover and then they rappel down and run a special flag to them.
Sports always have a connection to a little bit of militarism.
I love it because it's just simulated nationalism. It's simulated warfare, folks.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. Even a fucking chess match.
One of the things that I thought like they kind of suffered from and why they did the crash when they did it is they condensed essentially his entire racing career into what feels like maybe 12 months in the movie. Mm-hmm. Like there's just no real,
and like that's not really how these kind of circuits work. Like they're over a very long period of time.
Yeah,
it's like one season is basically like a year. Mm-hmm. Maybe not exactly. I don't follow formula racing at all, so I don't know exactly how long.
No, those circuits essentially work that way.
Formula.
Yeah. What type of racing is this?
The real guy did a whole bunch of different stuff. He did Formula something else, and this is.
Did he do NASCAR?
No.
When he was driving in the GTRs.
Coward.
Those were like basically like stock cars, essentially.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was most successful in what's called P3 racing, I believe. No.
Is that what Le Mans is? Because Le Mans is not Formula 1.
GP3, dude, sorry, that's it. GP3.
I don't know if it was true to how the actual events happened when he raced at Le Mans, but the levels of anxiety I hit when it started fucking raining, they're like, yeah, we're gonna keep racing at crazy speeds in the dark and the rain. I was like, nah, man, that's
nightmare.
That shit's wild.
That's horror level scary for you, Matt.
Absolutely.
I think there are I think Le Mans you can have like different types of cars.
Yeah, Le Mans
it's just a track, but
just like provide
there's some sort of it's just a track. It's not anything
there's
special.
Some sort of requirements you have to be within though.
They're like calling them LMP, LMGT. There are different categories that
he was mostly in the feeder series for Formula One, but it was a third tier.
I feel like if we were to look into it, it's like there's a bajillion different leagues and tiers.
Oh, it's absurd. Yeah. But it's about like, it's honestly, it's like how rich are you? How pedophilic is your uncle? Will determine what level you are.
How many children are you keeping in your basement?
Yeah.
How many gallons of adrenochrome do you have on tap?
He did say podium and you're immortal. So
that's what's in those champagne bottles.
Yeah. That's why they had to save it for the podium.
The funny part is they're like, he's not marketable, but champagne is only for the podium is quite a marketable
catchphrase.
Yeah, people would eat that up.
I'm still surprised that this reviewed so poorly.
Same. It was one of the better movies.
I was very happy with my time with this movie.
This time period.
Yeah, Matt, are you going to talk to your dad about this film? Gonna have a conversation.
Probably watch it together
with him. You said that it was like one of his favorite movies from like last year. What did he have to say about it at all? Like from your previous conversations?
I mean, he's always been a big racing fan, so he basically he enjoyed that it was a sports movie about racing that hit all the the emotional beats that you want.
I will say
he probably doesn't know about the manipulated flow of events.
Did you guys know that the real Jan Mardenborough was one of the stunt doubles for him?
Yeah,
his character.
It says it in the credits.
Yeah, I liked that a lot.
I also liked that they showed the starting car of the game when you play Gran Turismo, which is the S2000 Honda that they show right at the end with the credits. That's like in the game, that's essentially always the starting car that you get.
One of the options. It's like that and a Ford Focus or some shit.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine doing races in a Ford Focus.
I mean,
hatchback.
The Ford Focus ST is actually a pretty beastly little monster because the Focus is such a light vehicle. Throwing a twin turbo on it and just saying go, that thing can fucking. They usually blow up at like 50,000 miles, but
in my opinion, they could have completely cut out the like the romance subplot.
Yeah, I was just actually going to talk about
like
that.
Hometown sweetheart. Like
he's not a
only
pussy
did
getter.
they have no chemistry. He had no Riz. He had
no Riz. El Riz.
The first thing he says to her is, it's actually a simulator, bitch. Like,
there was only like, I think they did that whole emotional story arc just so David Harbour's character could be like, why don't you fly your bitch out when you after you get that signing bonus, fly her out to Tokyo. That's like the only reason.
Well, yeah, sure.
You may have flash that money around.
You may have negative charisma, but like you can flash some dollars, and that's sure to make up for something.
Yeah, that'll drop them.
That was the Megamind no bitches.
Man, it's like I'm struggling to think of other things to say about this film, which is a shame because I enjoyed it.
All right, I have some things to add.
Okay.
First, I think they really nailed a lot of the race sequences.
I was going to agree with the fact that they really nailed the feeling of speed.
Yeah,
how quickly you come up on other people when you're moving that quickly.
They highlighted what makes watching racing at all fun, which I thought was cool. And then There was a couple things that made me laugh just in general that I wanted to highlight. One was that his family essentially disappears from the story for a full hour and 15 minutes. Like as soon
until
as
he kills
goes,
somebody.
Yeah. And even then they don't even see him. They don't visit this man. It's just like
my child was just in a vehicle
funny.
that did somersaults. I'm not even gonna go look at his potential mangled corpse.
Yeah. Very, very funny. And then towards the beginning, and sometimes in the race sequences, the David Harbour's character was just like openly telling the audience what's going on, just kind of reminding them. At one point, he tells him ostensibly after this guy's been training to race that green means go. In his first race, he tells him that he's like, you have to go on green in like in a very earnest way.
I don't remember that line,
which was very funny.
What I remember was a line that I'm pretty sure it was Orlando Bloom, not David Harbour, but it's like when they're getting to Le Mans or whatever, he has to do the exposition thing of just to remind you once again, this is how Le Mans works. To explain to the dumb audience, it's a 24-hour race. You could do it in 3-hour shifts. No driver can drive more than 14 hours. You start in the afternoon, you go overnight, and you finish the next morning. And it was just like cool. It was just like that was the worst bit of writing here. It's like fuck, how do we explain the rules of Le Mans to these absolute submental morons, these
Orlando
evil
Bloom
Americans who don't know how real racing works. It's not just you go in a circle for 500 laps.
What are you talking about? The Indianapolis 500 is the greatest race of all time.
That one.
I just saw something when we had a question about Le Mans that like it's something like 600 times the length of the Indy 500.
That's fake news because that's in kilometers. Everyone knows that miles.
What the fuck is a kilometer?
So that one got me, Ben, and then the other one was when he's getting his FIA license. Throughout that sequence, they remind you like 4 different times he has to place 4th.
Right. I mean, that's again just because people are stupid. Because people are gonna be stupid. They'll be like, "What are you talking about? He didn't even get on the podium. Like doesn't he need to win? Does he need to win to get this? Like, again, people are stupid. So that one, I give them a little bit more.
Well, that's the whole thing about like racing, because it's like where you finish, it's all points for the season.
And so this was another.
Have they not played Mario Kart?
This was another one of the tropes that I enjoyed was, they're saying, you got to just finish 4th in one of these races. And he's so close on the first one. And then I'm just like, okay, he's not going to get it until the last one.
Yeah.
Very obvious.
Gotta build the tension.
Also, the obvious build of tension there is like he's so close there, and he gets obviously like slightly dirty, bumped out, but like experienced racing, that's how it works. And then they treat him like he's garbage. They're like, oh, you don't like you can't even race. You were just almost there, and you can't even do it. Like you might as well kill yourself. You
ain't bumping, you ain't racing.
You ain't first, you last.
I did keep having that's Reese Bobby, by the way, is what that quote is attributed to. But I did keep thinking of that myself with the whole thing about like, motherfucker didn't even podium, they're cheering about getting 3rd place. I'm like, you're not first, so what's worth celebrating?
Another excellent parallel to Eddie the Eagle, because all he has to do is finish like 8th or better in like in a ski jumping competition to qualify for the Olympics.
I do think it's kind of dishonest that they make us think that he's really all that successful at being a race car driver, because he has like 2 wins in his career. He's really not that good.
But that's a success when you're coming from
he's not driving
Ferrari,
so he's never going to be that good.
He's driving Nissan, and
Nissan. It's Nissan.
Nissan.
It's Datsun in my book. So they never changed their name. Oh, am I enlightening you? Nissan used to be called Datsun.
Was it like a German thing at one point?
Nope. I don't know if it was German, but like in the 70s,
they were
it
Japanese.
was Datsun.
That sounds like a German. It sounds like a German name.
But yeah, that was their original name.
Datsun. I like that they called their racing team Team Nismo. Combining
Nissan Motorsports.
See, I was just thinking even it's like Gran Turismo and Nissan.
No.
I know that's
Nismo's always been there.
Yeah, I know. I was just saying like, oh, that sounds like the game.
It does.
That sounds like the game.
I mean, I don't know if the cars were the exact 1-to-1 what the cars looked like in the race, but they were definitely very PlayStation forward on the car.
Did you see that like at the beginning when he first gets, it's like the opening scene when he gets his steering wheel, they have the nice little shot of the DualSense controller as he turns it on.
Yep.
But that's how you know he's not a real sim racer.
Well, if he had a DualSense controller, wait a second. If this is a guy from 2013, are they lying to me? Because he would have had a DualShock 3 or a DualShock 4 if he was an early adopter for the PlayStation 4.
Yeah. No, but the real guy had like, and they showed this on the kids shelf is like he had all the different generations of Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is supposed to take place in the current era. Yeah, they're not doing this. This is a 2011 period piece.
They should have been. You know how much better it would have been? Take me right back to the good times before all the bad stuff was happening. I was a freshman in college. Things were looking up.
Social mobility was still a possibility.
Most of the cars that they used,
could have bought Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But I was saying, like, no,
never forget my electrical engineering professor ranting to us for 40 minutes during an 8:00 lecture. We all needed to buy Bitcoin because it was the future.
Did he buy Bitcoin and is no longer a professor?
Yes.
Did he buy it when it was low and sell when it was high, or did he lose all his money and is now?
No, he was a very wealthy man after.
Yeah, well, we were in college. Bitcoin was worth like less than $1.
Yeah.
Yep, he dedicated the whole 40-minute lecture. He was like,
"You should have fucking listened to him.
We're ahead on the syllabus, so I'm going to tell you guys this is how you're going to like invest for your future right here, right now. You're going to Bitcoin." And I was sitting there, I was like, "Dude, this is fucking Minecraft money. What the fuck are you talking about?
You tell me I need to buy RuneScape gold?"
Yeah, exactly, dude. At that point, I thought they were the same thing.
It was essentially.
Hey, people are making money off RuneScape gold.
I thought I was trying to say is the real proof that he's not a real sim racer and was never going to go very far in the real world is the fact that he's racing on a PlayStation and not a custom PC rig.
Not a PC.
Then he
also didn't have a force feedback chair, a force feedback wheel, a force feedback pedals.
Okay, but they were working class people.
And if it was a PC sim rig, he would be playing Forza.
And all the money went to his brother's soccer career.
You know what's ridiculous? Yeah, let's talk about that. Like the weird class stuff that's going on with his father, who was a professional footballer at some point,
didn't properly invest his money.
It's like at best lower middle class. Just barely scraping by. He works at the rail yard, although the Wikipedia page likes to say that he was a miner. But no, he worked for the rail yard. But like the whole thing,
was he hanging out with Drake?
No,
well, so I was going to say
he does the thing.
Under
no one
18
got
when
it.
He was working at the rail yard.
he has the line. He has the line that's like
16.
It's like you end up here if you don't have a plan. type of thing. And it's like, dude, you were a professional footballer. Like, what the fuck? Like,
he didn't have a backup plan, and then
that's what he's kind of getting at there. I kind of get the sentiment of like, I had everything and I didn't have a plan for it, so I ended up here anyway. And like, this is where you'll end up if you don't know what happens when the money stops coming in if it doesn't work.
But that wasn't the point that he was making. He wasn't even saying even saying that like you're not even going to get the the contract.
That was like the esoteric portion that you had to read into it. But
maybe it's just because I know disappointed sports dad because I've dealt with it so often.
Well, no, and I think it's fine to read that into and like impute that on him, but it's the conversation was like, video games are stupid. You're not going to be able to be a video gamer and then be a real life athlete. So come up with another plan, son, because your dreams
not going to work and you're going to end up here.
He's like, you better get your ass on the soccer field, boy.
Play a real sport.
It's not soccer.
Footy.
Footy. Get yourself on the football field, the footy field.
He like in reality he had a 20 year soccer career between like the top tier and Premier League of English football.
So what does that tell you about the quality of life for regular people in Britain? Let's talk about the class the class conflict
for real.
Well, but then that's another like narrative license of like making him lower class and like this underdog comeuppance.
It's like you saw like the shit ass car that they take for their little he and his brother take their little excursion.
But in reality,
to go to a party, quote unquote, at the pier, which is 5 guys, 1 girl at a fucking bonfire where they're
that's a gangbang.
They're throwing glass bottles into the into the pier.
Throwing rocks at
trains. That's a gangbang if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, it's just like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
Just 5 guys, 1 girl, a pier.
Just grim, across the board.
It's the most high school ass thing I've ever heard.
That's really what we're finding.
The fire.
No, but like you call that a hangout, not a party.
Not a party.
Hey, they also call their underwear pants. So
I believe they call them knickers, sir.
Yeah.
No, your pants are knickers.
Get that CK in there.
I did. I did.
Yeah. So Matt made sure to enunciate.
I don't think I did. We might have to cut mine.
No,
from context. Yours and we splice that.
I'll just say, from context, you're fine. You're totally fine.
Yeah,
talking about pants and all this shit, and it's nope. Just cut all that. Just
cut that. Splice it right after we're talking about the shift of actor accent for the father.
Yeah. And yes, I want to look up information on Steve Martinborough
and Mike's career.
Yeah, just gonna have a voiceover button, just drops it. Like
make that a command on
start of a new one.
Make that a Twitch command so that people can pay real money to make
this. Is hilarious. I'm looking at Steve Martinborough's career thing. In 1996, he played for a Welsh team that you can obviously tell it's Welsh because it has a W as one of its vowels. Quimbrin? I don't know. And that was before he played for Cardiff for 3 years. That's so funny. I don't know. I definitely think again, David Harbour was the standout for sure.
Yeah, for sure. He was the star, without a doubt. Probably got paid less than Orlando Bloom.
Oh,
and
it was funny
Orlando had nothing.
It was funny that they, he's like, "Oh, I only get in the zone when I play some early Black Sabbath," and they're playing just like
late Black Sabbath.
No, they're just playing like, just like the greatest hits, like those are the needle drops. They're playing like crazy.
Yeah, because if they tried to play something
Train.
obscure, the people watching this movie would have no idea what they were playing.
Yeah.
You can only play
how
things
dumb
that people
audiences
might know
are
by name.
and how much we have to handhold.
Like literally, they're just like playing like Crazy Train and Iron Man and
War Pigs was one of them.
Yeah, War Pigs was the.
But they're just playing
obscure Black Sabbath.
Obscure Sabbath.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, real funny. Although it did hit me in the nostalgia that I did want to try to find a tape deck like that. It did get me.
I've been forever on the search for a Sony vertical record player.
Vertical?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were
Give me a Sony Betamax.
Vinyl head. So me the blessed laser disc enjoyer.
Yeah.
Dude, one of my this is a complete tangent. I remember one time in high school biology, like the school still had a laser disc player.
Oh yeah.
And my biology teacher showed us one thing. And dude, laser discs are fucking huge.
Yep.
Dude, we watched
enormous.
In 7th grade, I watched The Miracle of Birth on a laser disc. Dead ass.
Wow.
On a fucking laser disc. The only time I've ever seen one.
I feel like that makes perfect sense given everything I know about the school system. But in my head, all I feel like that we saw it on was just a slide projector where they would just put the next transparency on the.
I also saw The Miracle of Life in an IMAX theater, like in the planetarium thing at Boston. In Boston, I literally saw a woman.
That's a
crowning.
horrible.
In 8th grade, they made us do it. It was terrifying, absolutely terrifying.
I didn't realize this. I think
these are what the fucking libs want for our children. Disgusting.
I think the actress who played his mom, I think that was Ginger Spice from the Spice Girls.
Really?
I had seen that she was in it, but I'm just like, playing who? Yeah. Is that right?
Ginger Spice is Ice Spice's mother.
Yeah, no, yeah, she played the mom. Leslie Martinborough, played by Jerry Halliwell Horner, is an English singer, songwriter, television personality, author, and actress.
Ginger Spice.
Weird.
I believe I just heard my copy of Stellar Blade finally get delivered onto my porch.
Amazing. When do you think you're ever going to play that? Because
who knows at this point?
Yeah, because you still got another playthrough of Final Fantasy, and then
I did finish. I did finish everything you can do in Musclehead until you beat the game, and everything you can do in the Gold Saucer. Other than that, and I might just come back to Cactar Crush when I hate myself slightly less when the
it was
again.
We're completely off track here, but I will just say that.
Yep, that's fine.
You mentioned this. You mentioned this in the group chat that it was the Aerith Cactuar Crush levels that was the indication for me that I was not going to 100% this game. I was like, nope. Even do my version of 100%, which was like trying to get the highest level on every mini game. I was like, nope, I can't do this. I can barely pass on hers, so we're gonna just skip that. And my commitment then kind of was re-scoped at that point. That shit sucked. That was bad.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So back to Gran Turismo. Let's give it a rating. Let's give it a hot rating here. We do adaptation first, right?
Yeah.
Let me get a pen. pencil and paper. Write down our
Adaptation's a
scores.
weird one for this.
Mm-hmm.
Because am I rating it on its adaptation of truth? Am I rating it on its adaptation of the game?
I don't know. I'm gonna give it for adaptation. I'm just gonna give it a solid 7 because it's like it's kind of a stretch, to call this an adaptation of anything. This is a sports movie that is adapting a real life story
that involved a video game.
Yeah, it's video game tangential, but they had enough little things.
It's essentially
here and there,
a true story version of The Wizard from the 80s with Mario 3 and the Power Glove.
That's a pull. I'm gonna give it a solid 7 because I like the little bits they throw at for the gaming.
I actually enjoyed the little video
bits.
game sounds and the little the couple shots here and there they would stitch in that looked like the game overlay for just a second.
Yeah, and when they would do the car building aspect of things, break down the car parts and all that, I thought it was cool. But it's nothing. They're not actually.
The brakes were glazed over. I've driven these cars for thousands of hours.
Yeah, that was kind of funny to me because I feel like that's only something you could physically feel. Yeah, like
physically feel.
Yeah.
Like even if you have pedals, they can't make that feel that way.
Well, and I'm pretty sure that the simulation isn't that good that it'll even have those effects.
Here's me not even knowing what that meant, so I'm just like, cool.
It was too hot and the ceramics just glaze.
So the brakes are all ceramic.
They changed their coefficient of friction.
It's like that they got thrown in the kiln.
Yeah, they just get fucking heated up.
All right. Who else got an adaptation score?
I'll go.
Yeah. Go for it.
I got a 6.9.
I mean, we can't keep getting away with this, folks. We can't keep letting him do
it. I enjoyed the video game sounds and things. I do feel that it pulled me out of the movie for a second. It did seem at points incongruent with what was going on because it was just a sports movie. It wasn't there wasn't that much video game aspects to it at all, and it's not like Prince of Persia where you could show some kind of leveling or you're following a character. This was, like we said, it's just a sports movie that's tangentially related to a video game. So while I thought they were cool, I think the amount that they did just caused me to get pulled out sometimes, and if they'd done more, maybe it wouldn't have been that way and they would have gotten past the 6.9 and to a 7.
I think a 7 is right for me. I think because of, everyone's already said their points regarding it, but I think relatively speaking, just because of the liberties they took with emotional manipulation for the sake of storytelling, I think that's the biggest ding they get adaptation wise, because I'm going to count that as adaptation of the story that they wanted to tell. Because again, this isn't necessarily 100% a video game adaptation, more or less a story about a video game player and his progression to professional sports. It is a feel-good story, though, and I like that.
All right, I'm gonna go a little higher than you all to a 7.10, which stands for
Perfect.
oil. And
so just evening out the average, just a flat 7.
That's exactly.
Yep.
And I think I like I liked how they overlaid a lot of the game visuals and tied it into the game. It wasn't anything too overt. It gave it a cool visual style. So I thought they did it right. I think they very easily
Plus, the
could have
gamer
made
was
it
right in the end
annoying.
and knew better than everyone else, which if that doesn't
Yeah.
feed into gaming
See, like,
complexes
I
from
like
now
I
on.
liked the bit where they showed the lines, right? I liked that.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I mean, yeah, that end like last 10 minutes was probably the best adaptation wise. Coming from a game
Coming
a
from
simulation
gamers.
driver. Well, no, coming from the
Coming
resident
from a simmer.
Yeah, simmer in the group. I do not like following
Add
the
a T
lines.
to that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's always stimming.
Stimming right now.
All right. Movie rating. I'll go first. I'm gonna give it an 8.2. 8.2. Just because I found this. I think if I had been if I had just rewatched Rudy or something before this, and then watched this again, it wouldn't have hit as hard, and I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much because I think it just hit at the right time for me that this is the first sports movie I've watched in probably half a decade.
You needed a motivational sports movie to get you going for your Sisyphean academia task.
Oh yeah. Yeah. My work schedule is getting pretty crazy for the next month and a half, so don't expect me to be popping in on much of anything extra over the next few months. For those of you who are tuning in, quick plug to the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/campaign comrades. But yeah, it's inspiration. If Jan Martinborough can do it, maybe I can do it too. Although, can he read? Don't know.
Unsure.
Okay, who's next?
I'm dropping an 8.0. Just a solid 8. I think it's a fun movie. It hits the right marks for what you're looking for with this genre. And I actually think the guy who plays Jan, I don't know him. He's pretty good. He was a pretty decent. Did a pretty good job with the role, in my opinion.
My apologies. Wasn't aware of your game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
All right.
He's been in a couple of things, but nothing that I had seen before. It was just the accent. That accent to me, and just the way he enunciates, it just seems so forced to me. I couldn't even try to recreate it, but it's just way too much. And it's a little bit heavy in the oi bruv for me.
I mean, that's fair, but I just think all British people talk like they're mentally deficient, so that didn't bother me.
No, but this guy is literally
inbred.
It's literally just do your South London accent and don't even try to do anything else. You might burst a blood vessel.
All right. I got mine. I'm going with an 8.008.
But no, you're not allowed to do that.
But it spells boobs.
I know, but you're not allowed to do that. We only go to 1 decimal point.
You can't always have sex funny numbers unless you can come up with a way to make an 8 number sexy.
The podcast bylaws state can't go past one.
Then give me
8.3 looks like 2 butt cheeks from the rear coming together.
Yep. I want an 8.3.
Okay. What's anything to add for that?
Not really. I mean, I enjoyed the movie. It was one of the better more recent movies that I watched that wasn't like a stupid comedy. And yeah, I mean, I definitely I probably would have gone closer to an 8.5 if it was slightly shorter. If the whole runtime is 2:14, I think.
Yeah.
If we got it to a nice,
I think an hour 45 is a better runtime for this movie.
Yeah. I'll even allow them a 150. I think that would really
I think, like we said, you could have probably cut out the romance.
Yeah, cut out the romance subplot, and you're probably good.
There's a good amount. there to cut out.
I don't need to see him culturally appropriating Japanese culture, running around.
Yeah, I think if it was tightened up, it would be an even better movie.
You see, I'm only going to allow that when we go to Japan and we start.
Hell yeah.
And we can only do that if you listen and support us.
I want to go to, if we do that, we got to go to one of the lonely men bars.
Yeah, I want to go to the strong woman bars.
Of course.
Where the muscle ladies slap you.
Yes. Of course.
The Catwoman bars where they pin you to the wall.
Yeah. All right, Matt,
bring the weird bars.
Bring it home.
I'll wrap it. I'm gonna go a little higher than everyone just because you're all in that like solidly B- category. I think it's a B. I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I think anytime you can properly hit the emotional beats of sports movie right, you fall into the good enough for me category, and that's a B.
That gives us an average of 8.25.
Which rounds up to 8.3 on single digits, which is a B. Cool.
In some places, not in others.
Yeah.
But yeah,
academia is weird.
I thought this was good. I enjoyed it. I was like, for some reason, like I kept having to ask you guys, like, what fucking movie are we doing again? And it was like a little bit like, oh man, I don't like racing games, and I don't necessarily know that I'm gonna have a touchstone for this, and I ended up enjoying myself.
You woke up and you're like, holy shit, what's in my inventory? And you looked in your cart and there were sim racing wheel, pedals, a Welsh to English dictionary.
It's just like, how many different words are there for sheep? That's like the majority.
Husband,
half the
wife.
book.
Yeah. All right, folks. That's gonna do it for us today. We've been all over the racetrack. I think we've managed to podium this episode.
Yeah, it's because we found our own line.
Yeah, this will be this.
Every episode is going to be like this now.
This podcast will be immortalized forevermore.
If you listen, we'll fund Mike's journey to become a real racer and podium at Le Mans.
Hey, you're
would
like,
fucking love
one
that.
of the big issues with him is that he was too tall. Mike definitely does not have that problem.
No, not at all.
Shit.
I'm perfect size. And my only thing is we got to go Ferrari if we're doing this.
Ferrari.
Have to lean into the Italian, and I'll drive in a Mario suit.
All right. Stay tuned for that arc coming soon. Till then, you can support us by following and giving us those prime subbies at twitch.tv/campaignComrades. I believe that's everything for today. We'll be back. Is it next week, or how's the month playing out? Yeah, it'll be next week for a news episode. Slightly early news roundup. And then week after that, we're talking. It's Elden Ring month, folks. Everybody's talking about Elden Ring.
Oh yeah.
So we will see you all next time. Keep racing. Follow your life.
Bye.